Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla's deliveries, tons of Model Y refresh prototypes, major new Cybertruck discounts, the 300,000-mile Tesla, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Recurrent for sponsoring this video. First up today, the end of both the quarter and the year just occurred, which means Tesla's delivery numbers are officially out. Tesla had some high goals set for themselves in Q4, and they were rapidly deploying many incentives in order to meet that goal. For the year as a whole, Tesla aimed to exceed the 1.8 million units sold in 2023. As of the end of Q3, Tesla had delivered 1,293,656 units. Leading into that, most analysts predicted that Tesla would have to deliver around 515,000 units in the fourth quarter, which would put them ahead of their previous annual record. Going in, Wall Street was expecting Tesla to deliver about 506,763, while people like Troy Teslike were predicting 501,000, and the results are in. For Q4, Tesla produced 459,445 vehicles and delivered 495,570. The breakdown there, as always, is dominated by Model 3 and Y sales at 471,930. Then all other models, including Cybertruck, Model S, and Model X, saw a total of 23,640 deliveries. For the year, this means Tesla delivered 1,789,226 vehicles, 19,355 fewer cars than last year. Still, as Tesla notes, this was, quote, a record for both deliveries and deployments. Energy deployments were at 31.4 gigawatt hours. For earnings, Tesla's call will take place on January 29th at 2:30 p.m. PST or 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Overall, Tesla did still hit a record for the quarter and continued to sell a lot of cars for the full year, but many will be extremely disappointed to see their delivery numbers decrease year over year. This hasn't been the case for quite some time. Barclays guesses that, quote, a slight near-term volume miss would likely dampen Tesla's AV/AI push, but they feel that the hype around their autonomous products will likely keep them moving upwards overall. In the relatively near future, Tesla predicts that a huge portion of their revenues will come from AI products like FSD and their autonomous robotaxi service. Those are big promises, but the recent huge improvements in FSD have given more people confidence that they might be able to hit those goals. It's just more of a question of when. On a personal level, I used to be a bit more of a skeptic when it came to FSD as a product, and often would tell people not to purchase it as it was for many years. After testing the latest versions and seeing just how much it has improved lately, I am really impressed at how far it has come, and I do use it regularly. With that said, it's a big hump to get over for Tesla to ensure capability good enough that people don't need to be there to take over, so we'll see. As for deliveries, the refreshed Model Y is coming right around the corner, which we'll talk about more in this video, and Tesla has reiterated many times that, quote, preparations remain underway for our offering of new vehicles, including more affordable models, which we will begin launching in the first half of 2025. Unless things end up massively delayed here, these should greatly help Tesla surpass 2024 delivery numbers. Until the day that Tesla Cybercabs are safely and legally operating in cities around the country, the automaker's primary business is still making and selling cars. While this year may not have seen growth numbers quite as high as Tesla has projected, this year was still impressive for the company overall. But what are your thoughts? Tesla's stock is down as a result of these numbers, but many long-term Tesla investors feel this won't matter in a few years. Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today, one of the biggest criticisms of the current lineup of the Cybertruck is its price. When these vehicles were first unveiled a few years ago, Tesla promised that they would come in at prices as low as $40,000. However, when the first Foundation Series trucks arrived, the cheapest option was the all-wheel drive variant for $100,000. That has since dropped to its true base price, announced at that delivery event, of $79,990. A lot of owners really love this truck, but that price can obviously be a hard pill to swallow for many customers who may have made their reservation with this cheaper price in mind. We are currently awaiting the arrival of the upcoming rear-wheel drive variant of this truck, which will sell for a lower price. But until then, a temporary discount has just arrived for the all-wheel drive trim, but you will likely have to act fast to get it. As of the new year, the all-wheel drive Cybertruck has been added to the IRS's lists of vehicles that are eligible for the $7,500 EV tax credit. This tax credit is likely going to disappear with the imminent arrival of the new administration here in the US, but until that officially goes away, which could be some time, customers can now get the Cybertruck at $72,490. This is stackable with some of the other incentives that Tesla offers, such as the $1,000 veterans discount and an additional $1,000 when you use a referral code. With both of those discounts, that could potentially bring the cost of a brand new Cybertruck down to $70,490. But anyone who qualifies for just the tax credit and uses a referral code can get it for $71,490. Considering how much this truck was for its initial run, it's pretty impressive to see how much more attainable it is now. Sales of the Cybertruck have reportedly slowed quite a bit, as demand for this vehicle at these prices has seemingly dwindled. But this pretty big discount should lead to a boost in sales. Tesla's technique as well for selling Foundation Series Cybertrucks that are sitting in inventory has been to add unlimited free supercharging for life on that vehicle. This is something that definitely hurts the feelings of Foundation Series owners who already bought this car at an expensive price and now realize that if we had waited, we would get unlimited free lifetime supercharging on the Cybertruck. I'm definitely in that boat and wish I had that benefit, but that is how it goes with Tesla. That's specific to Foundation Series Cybertrucks, and at the same time, it did eliminate the $2,500 credit that came with that car in order to install PowerShare. So in a sense, that lifetime supercharging benefit costs about $2,500. If you plan to keep the truck for a while, though, that's well worth it. In any case, if you're interested in ordering a normal price Cybertruck, my referral link is posted in the description below. What's additionally interesting here, though, is that on the IRS page of eligible electric vehicles, their list actually includes the upcoming single-motor Cybertruck as well. We don't know when this truck's trim is coming, but this suggests that when it does arrive, it will be eligible for the tax credit right out of the gate. This is, of course, assuming that the tax credit is still around when that particular truck does ship. If Tesla sticks with pricing that they announced of the rear-wheel drive Cybertruck at the delivery event, that car would come in at about $60,990. With a referral discount, that's $59,990, and then if you're eligible for the tax credit and it's still around, that comes down to $52,490. That price is finally getting into the realm of what people really did expect with the Cybertruck and could massively boost sales. I'm definitely excited to see that truck come to be since it will have most of the features that this truck has. For the average buyer, that car will definitely perform well. Now, speaking of incentives and discounts, Tesla has just reset their referral bonus limit for all Tesla owners. Owners who refer a new customer that makes an eligible purchase can receive $500 in Tesla credit up to 10 times. That means if your referral code is used 10 times, you can receive up to $5,000 in credit to use towards supercharging, Tesla accessories, or a new vehicle purchase. For those using the code, you can receive $500 off the purchase of a Model 3 or Y, or $1,000 off the price of a Model S, X, or Cybertruck. This is a great additional discount for basically no work, so if you're planning on purchasing a Tesla vehicle, then make sure to use one of those referral links. Next up, let's talk about today's sponsor, Recurrent. Recurrent is a free online platform designed by a team of battery scientists to analyze the range and health of your EV battery over time. Drivers can easily connect their car to get the latest vehicle insights into the battery history and an estimate of its overall health. Tesla owners also have access to their beta battery health module, which only collects data while you are charging, removing the phantom drain that other battery health services create. They have a huge data set of around 25,000 vehicles with more than 50 makes and models across all 50 states. Here's an example report of a 2023 Model Y, which lays out the car's expected range, real-world range, how much time is left on the warranty, and more. With Recurrent, EV owners make more money by showing that their battery is still going strong, and large auto auctions have found that including their vehicle insights increased the average sale price by $1,400. If you are looking to buy your first EV, then you can check the range, battery, and tax credit eligibility on tens of thousands of vehicles, all for free. Location data is never collected, personal data is never shared without your consent, and battery information is handled securely with end-to-end encryption. With Recurrent, we can buy, drive, and sell electric vehicles positively, so check them out by clicking the link in the description below. Next up today, as we have entered into the new year, sightings of the Model Y refresh are continuing to heat up. At this point, the speculation and rumor seems to be leading to the idea that since Tesla is testing this everywhere, they will plan to launch this car globally simultaneously. Additionally, Tesla's Fremont factory is currently undergoing upgrades, and we've heard it's specifically to get ready for this new car. Sources from Tesla's Fremont factory say that trial production is going well and getting close to final, and now we have a number of new spy shots of this car. Here's the Model Y refresh from the front with 20-inch induction wheels and from the side. From the back, we get a good look at the small corner of the light bar, but they are doing a good job covering this one up. Up front, it does seem that they are particularly covering up a spot where a front bumper camera will likely be included. That's also confirmed in this other sighting that shows that front bumper camera sticking out uncovered. From the back, we do get a good view of the rear camera, which is clearly mounted on the lip of the tailgate higher than it was previously. It seems that that will probably be integrated with the switch to open this trunk, but we'll have to see. As for the side mirrors on the Model Y, this prototype has a very particular detail. Tesla appears to have reshaped that side mirror, but also seems to have added a crease within it. This probably helps at least a little bit with aerodynamics and, of course, changes up the look a little bit. We'll have to see if this is exclusive to the performance model or if it's coming to all trims. One detail that can also be seen on the inside is the updated Model 3 steering wheel. Here the wheel is upside down, clearly showing that it's the same steering wheel as the refreshed Model 3. At the same time, another Model Y was spotted out testing, and this one clearly showcases the rear light bar shining through the middle of the cover. This is a really great look at this rear light bar, which appears to be using an indirect lighting technique. Tesla first showcased this on the Robotaxi, and it's a pretty cool solution that makes the light bar less intense to view from the outside. Another photo that clearly shows this was taken last week in the rain. That indirect lighting softens the light and helps it glow more than shine. As for the front and other areas of this car, here's a simple but effective sketch of what exactly Tesla is covering up. At this point, there are small details to observe in sightings, but the main thing is we'll keep spotting this car out in the wild, and it will probably begin happening much more often. We have almost every detail confirmed for this car, but the most exciting things to see will be if Tesla does any sort of platform upgrades, and how well they improve interior cabin isolation and ride quality. Next up today, Tesla has promised for a while now that their cars would be some of the longest lasting vehicles on the road. Their batteries, for example, are designed to last well over 200,000 miles in most cases, and should last longer than the average gas car will ever on the road. As Tesla continues to mature, we're seeing more examples of how long their vehicles last after many years and miles of driving. One driver recently shared their experience online, showing off a Model 3 that had driven over 300,000 miles on its original battery. That's extremely impressive, but what is additionally amazing is the fact that beyond just lasting that long, the battery was actually still performing very well. In their own internal testing, Tesla reports that after 200,000 miles driven, the average Model 3 will have lost around 15% of its original capacity. Here, the driver found that their car had only lost 15% even after reaching the 300,000 mile mark. So after all of that driving, this owner still had about 85% of the original battery capacity. That's really remarkable, and while it may have fared better than the average battery, it goes to show how much these batteries are truly built to last. Beyond just the savings inherent to not needing to replace your vehicle, it's fascinating to think about the additional savings that come with having such a long-lasting EV. It's hard to quantify exactly how much money would be saved in not needing to purchase gasoline, with fluctuating prices all the time in different markets, but given the lower cost of electricity, it undoubtedly saved quite a bit of money over time. For a more specific cost, you can think of how much money was likely saved by not needing oil changes. If we use the estimates that an average car needs an oil change every 5,000 miles and costs somewhere around $50, then this owner would have saved $3,000 in oil changes alone on the cheaper side. EVs like those made by Tesla are continuing to prove themselves out in the real world, and they're showing us just how reliable they are. Getting an EV right now may be an expensive prospect for some, but when we look out long term, they still can be a really great value proposition that only gets better the longer you have it. Next up today, Tesla's widespread rollout of the Supercharger has been one of the biggest selling points for adoption of their vehicles, and now for EVs as a whole since other brands have access to them. Just recently, we saw the results from Tesla's latest Supercharger vote, where customers could pick some of the upcoming spots to receive charger installations. Tesla holds these votes every quarter, where owners can make their voices heard to decide where some of the next Supercharger sites will be built. This particular poll ran from September of 2024 until December 27th, with the vote for Q1 of 2025 beginning on the same day. In the United States, owners voted to have chargers installed in a few different places, including Claremont, Florida, Cody, Wyoming, Hot Springs, Arkansas, Johnson City, Tennessee, and Teos, New Mexico. There were an equal number selected for cities across Canada, and then several more in places like Croatia, Italy, Australia, South Korea, Japan, and more. All in all, 18 locations were chosen in this vote that will receive Supercharger locations in the coming months. The ongoing rollout of supercharging is very exciting to see, and with the huge improvements coming to that network, like 500 kilowatt charge peak speeds on the Cybertruck thanks to the V4 cabinet, the service is only getting better. If you are interested in voting for that 2025 Q1 Supercharger poll, that is available on Tesla's website. Next up today, one of the many advanced technologies that comes equipped on every Tesla vehicle is the option of controlling certain features with your voice. For example, you can search for addresses or other places vocally, and then select it on screen to navigate to. You can tell your car that you are hot or cold, and it will automatically adjust the temperature for you. You can tell it to do a lot of different things, like opening the charge port, locking the doors, or any number of other commands. It's a nice system to have, but what a lot of people don't realize is just how many commands there truly are for you to use. Kern Basher recently posted a long list on X that shows off the many voice commands that are actually usable in one of these cars. There are of course all of the obvious ones, but what this goes to show is that almost any major control or feature of the car can be activated by the voice. You can change the acceleration mode of your vehicle, you can set the steering weight, ask your car to Google something on your behalf, or even activate Santa mode by saying ho ho ho. There are tons of features on this list that a lot of people, including myself, didn't even really know about. This is probably one of the less talked about Tesla features, but even in its current state, it's already very impressive. Even with its current level of quality, it's really exciting knowing that these features are only going to get better. Tesla is working on a lot of AI features that will soon be coming to these vehicles, and rumors suggest that the voice assistant will soon be getting an AI upgrade. That will eventually allow you to operate your vehicle using more plain language instead of these pre-written voice commands, and that will be a huge game changer. When that is combined with future versions of completed FSD, eventually you'll be able to get into a Tesla vehicle and tell it to drive you anywhere fully autonomously using only your voice. Elon has talked a bit about implementing xAI's Grok into Tesla vehicles at some point, so while voice isn't a huge part of the Tesla experience right now for many customers, soon AI may be central to your driving experience. We're on the cusp of something very exciting here, and I can't wait to see what comes of this. Next up today, one of the biggest incentives that was meant to promote EV adoption in the United States has for several years now been the federal EV tax credit. We just talked about this becoming available on the Cybertruck, and it's a big deal since it can lower its price so much. With the latest rules, customers who meet certain requirements are eligible to have the price of their qualified EV cut by as much as $7,500. There are of course certain income requirements, and battery sourcing rules meant that EV makers are encouraged to promote local battery production if they want to be eligible. A lot of people loved this incentive, but with the upcoming administration change in the United States, it seems likely that it will be going away very soon. While this seems on the surface like it will do huge harm to the EV industry, some people, including Elon Musk, are actually in favor of removing that incentive. So while this removal may be frustrating for some, let's outline the perspective of one writer who's very opposed to the EV tax credit and feels it is best that it ends. According to this writer, the EV tax credit, while perhaps well-intentioned, has actually created more problems than it solves. They argue that it primarily benefits the wealthy since most EVs are still expensive in the US, meaning that it is only the wealthy who stand to benefit. One study on the EV tax credit revealed that customers in 2021 who made over $100,000, quote, represented 22% of all filers and received 84% of the credit benefits. They also argue that the tax credit represents $112 billion in lost tax revenue for the US government and was likely going to go up even further. The US is currently operating at a $2 trillion deficit, so this could be a place where revenue can potentially be recouped. While some may argue that the tax credit is designed to promote EV sales in order to fight climate change, this writer disagrees on both counts. According to one study, 75% of the claimed EV tax credits went to customers who were already going to buy an EV. In essence, they believe that the credit didn't actually do much to incentivize people to buy electric, further citing stalled EV sales across the market. They also argue that EVs are not a solution to climate change given their own environmental impact to produce, and that the credit is preventing other green technologies from succeeding like hybrids, hydrogen, and other alternative fuels. We could talk for a while about why these points are not true, but that's for another video. When the credit was first proposed, it was sold in part as a way of helping the EV industry to get the ball rolling, so to speak. Once those companies reached mass production and could drive down costs themselves, then the credit would no longer be necessary. This writer suggests that with major automakers entering the EV market, that point has already come and gone. Ultimately, they believe that other solutions offer better ways of addressing the climate, and that the role of the government should not be to interfere with this free market. As I mentioned, this perspective is not necessarily mine, and it may not reflect your views either. Still, the EV tax credit is likely going to disappear at some point in the near future, and the industry will have to adjust to compensate for it. Maybe the disappearance of the tax credit will push automakers to drive down the prices of these vehicles and actually spur growth. Maybe its disappearance will really hurt prices and EV sales will plummet as a result. We can't know for certain what will happen exactly when this credit disappears, and we'll have to see where all of this goes. It does seem likely, though, that at least in the near term it would slow EV sales a tad. What do you think, though? Will the removal of the EV tax credit be beneficial to the EV industry or harmful overall? Let me know what you think in the comments below. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest for future Tesla and EV battery tech, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.